Hello friends, my name is CryptoFace, and by the end of this video you are going to know how to count cards in blackjack, where you will have a percentage gain edge, and as if you play with reasonable bets, the odds are in your favor, and like me, you'd be able to turn $1,500 into $8,000 playing blackjack sporadically over about a 2-month period, maybe a couple times a week for a couple hours. You'll be able to do the same thing. After this video and 3 15-minute practice sessions, it is like riding a bike. So I'm going to cut all the small talk. We're going to get right into it. You're going to need to watch this video maybe a couple different times. But let's get some of the obvious stuff out of the way first. First things first. Counting cards is not illegal. No one has ever gone to jail or been prosecuted for counting cards. In the old days, maybe in the mob days, a couple people have been taken out in the back and gotten their butt whooped. But in this day and age, that typically doesn't happen. In fact, professional counters, the old ones, say there is no better time ever to count cards in blackjack than now. So it's not illegal. You also do not have to be a genius. You don't have to have good memory at all. That is all a myth. In fact, every time I try to get a friend or a family member to give me 45 minutes to teach them how to count, they are scared because they think it takes some superpower in order to do, and it doesn't. Although the secret, here's the secret, one word. The secret to counting cards and learning is patience. That's it. I can teach an 8-year-old how to count cards in 45 minutes, and you will guaranteed be able to count if you just dedicate 45 minutes and use the strategies that I'm going to tell you how to use. Okay? So, let's get after it. First things first, yes, you're going to want to know basic strategy. It does work with online and obviously in casinos. I do all of mine online with 8-card decks or 8-deck shoes, and I've been able to turn $1,500 into $8,000 in about 2 months. I can flash proof real quick. Yeah, there's proof. I have 8,500. I stream it all the time. People that have been following me, I stream it all the time. So if you're new, you don't know who I am. Plenty of people do. Thousands of people do. I've been doing this for a long time. Okay, great. So first thing is, when you are playing online, you want to have one of these basic strategy blackjack cards. Now, some casinos in person do let you have one, but you'll be able to. You're going to want to practice counting in your head. The benefits of doing online counting is you can count out loud. No one's watching you. And yeah, they typically have more decks, so you have to be a little more patient and wait for a good count. So you want to have a basic strategy card always open for the 15s and 16s that you forget and yada yada. Okay? So always have one of those. The whole point to counting cards is knowing how many faces are left. With the rules of blackjack, a dealer has to hit on 16 and 17, and anything below, where you don't have to. So long story short, if you've never played blackjack before, just know that when there's more 10s in the deck or in the shoe, you have a percentage edge on the house. That is a fact. It is math. This is old stuff. Okay? So, there are a bunch of different counting strategies. We use the main one. This is called high-low. Is our specific strategy. It's the easiest one. It's the one all the pros use. Some nerds, I'm sure in the comments, will come in and go, oh, I use this strategy, whatever. Just use high-low. It's all you need. Okay? So, what we're going to do is the cards are split into 3 different groups. 2 through 6. These are our low cards, 2 through 6. We have 7, 8, and 9. These are our neutral cards. And we have 10, Jack, Queen, King, and Ace. These are your high cards. Your low cards, 2 through 6, will give you a +1 count. 7 through 9 is neutral. It is 0, nada. 10 through Ace is -1. Now, sometimes this can be confusing if you're going to go, okay, well, it's a low one. I want to say -1, but it's +1. So think about it this way. When a 2 through 6 shows up, you know that there is one more face card or one more 10 in the deck. If a king comes out or a 10 comes out, you go, oh, there's one less. So that's why it's -1. So again, if an ace comes out, there is one less 10 or ace or 10 or jack or queen. There's one less 10 value card in the deck. So this would be -1. If a 6 comes out, there is one more face in the deck. So that would be +1. And a 7, 8, and 9 is 0. Okay? 2 through 6, +1. 7 through 9, nothing. 10 through ace, -1. Okay? Now, the number one thing that kept me from counting cards before, and this is the biggest mistake everyone makes, is when the dealer is dealing, you do not start counting. You do not count as the dealer as soon as the dealer starts, or else you're going to have a heart attack trying to keep up going, you wait for the second card to show up. You could literally end this video now and go online and run with that. You'll be able to learn how to count just by practicing. So again, as the dealer is dealing, you are not starting to count. You start your count on the second card. Okay? So, boom. As soon as the dealer lays the second card, that's when I'm going, okay, there's a high card and a neutral. That's -1. Boom. Here's a low card and a neutral. So we have -1. Now we have a +1 and neutral. So the count is 0. And now we have a low card and a high card. So those both cancel each other out. So the count is still 0. Wow, what a perfect example, right? So let's try it again, okay? So you're sitting at the table, you're chilling, okay? Then boom, now you start counting. So we have a king and a 10, both 10 cards. So now we know that there's 2 less 10s in the deck. This is -2. Now there's 2 low cards, so -2. Now there's 2 additional faces in the deck, so that's +2. So now we're at 0. Then boom, we have a 10 value and a 3. Both of those cancel each other out. That is a 0. Now some people like to practice like this. They go 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, -1, 0, 0, -1, 0, 0, 0, -1, -2, -1, and they count like that. They go one by one. Me, I never practiced like that. It's better. I practiced a little bit like this, although just going to the table, that's the best way to practice. Go sit at the table, and as soon as the second card hits, that's when you start counting. So you can practice by counting twos. Let's do it again. Boom. A 10 and a 4. That's a high card and a low card. 2 through 6. Cancels each other out. So 0, 0. Here. It's hard to see. Boom. Another 10 and a 6. 0. A neutral and a low card. So that's 0 plus 1. So now we're at 1. 2 low cards. So now we're at 3. Okay? That is it. Now, there's a couple other tricks here. In the beginning, I like to sit at the very end of the table, so I have a little bit more time to count. So the last seat that gets dealt, I like to sit at, or I used to like to sit at, and also it gives you a more accurate count. Slightly. So mathematically, the last seat is the one you want to sit in. Okay? Oh, how could I almost forget? The dealer themselves. That also tricks people, okay? So remembering the count always comes first. Don't talk to the guy next to you. And also, what I like to do to keep track, especially if you're in a casino, is I put my hand, let's say my left hand, if I'm right-handed, right, I have my hand on the table, and I have my left hand in between my legs under the table. And if the count's 1, I'll be like 1, okay, 2. All right, now it's 1 again. Now it's 0. If it's -1, I'll go, okay, -1, -3. Okay, now it's -2. And I'm doing this in between my legs, right? That also helps in the beginning. And you can do it online too. Just do it. You can count out loud if you're doing it online, right? So, okay, so let's pretend that I'm the dealer. You're the player, okay? So, dealer's dealing. Let's say you're playing with a friend. All right, here, wait. There's you, there's your homie, there's me, there's you, there's your homie, here's me. As soon as the second card comes out, right? These are 2 low cards, so that's +2. Ooh, look at this. A 3 and a 6. That's also 2 more face cards. So now we're at +4. Okay? Now, I always count the dealer's card last, or else you'll get mixed up. You'll forget about this card sometimes, right? So, okay, the count's +4. 8's neutral. Now it's the dealer's turn after, or actually, if I'm showing an 8, he's got a 7, right? So you're going to hit that. Boom, another low card. Counts now +5. So this is a 12 against an 8. So what you're going to do, if you're new, let's say you don't know what to do, you look at your little card here. And you go, okay, I have a 12. Dealer has an 8. It tells me to hit. So I hit. Boom. Another low card. 6 comes up. So now it's an 18. You have a +6 count. So that's good for you. Right? So 18. Boom. You're going to stay. Now your homie's here. He's got a 9. He's going to hit. Boom. Now he's got a 16. Now this is cool, right? Check this out. If you have a 16, the 16s and 15s are the tricky cards, right? So if you go to your little card helper, you have a 16, dealer has an 8, right? Normally, if the deck didn't have so many faces, you'd hit this. But since the count is +5, and this is a single deck, so that's a +5 count. This is what's called a deviation. You deviate from the plan. Knowing that this next card is probably a face card, you stay. So one of the issues with counting cards is some jackass at the table is going to be like, you're supposed to hit on that. But you know that there's chances are this is a face. So let's say you stay on the 16, all right? Dealer flips the card. Boom. Remember to count this. Now it's +6. Dealer has a 12 he has to hit. Oh, dealer got 20. You got a little unlucky. Okay? Now, this is a good lesson. Because when the count is in your favor, when you are betting bigger, that's not only when you win, but that's also when you lose the most as well. So just because you have a good count doesn't mean you go all in. You just bet heavier. How much heavier? That's up to you. Figure it out. Do something. There's all kinds of different theories, right? So, okay. So dealer has 20. Boom. So you lose that hand. But guess what? You were on a minimum bet. So let's say the minimum bet's $25. Okay, so you're down $25. But guess what? The count's +6, +6. So now you bet heavy. Let's say you triple your bet and you bet $75. You're down 25. There's you, your homie. Boom. Boom, face down. Look at that. Uh-oh. Okay. Counts +6. Count this. Now it's okay. 9 and a queen. You always, before you even look at your own hand, the count comes first. So the count was 6. 9 and a queen. So that's neutral. 1 less face. So now it's -5. I say, you can say D5 to be quick. D5. That means down 5. 2 more. So now it's another -2. So -5, -3, -4. Now, there are deviations where it's insurance shit. We're not going to go into deviations. We'll do that next episode. And so, let's see if the dealer has blackjack. Oh, it does. And so we got a little unlucky there again. Now the count's +3. Little unlucky there. It's all right. So now if the count's +3, true count's +3, I'd bet maybe. Well, here's the thing. We're using a single deck. When you're at a casino or online, they use multiple decks. So there's 2 types of counts. There is your running count, which is the count we have right now. Then there is your true count. The true count is the running count divided by the amount of decks left in the shoe of the dealer. So you can guesstimate that when you see it. Let's say there's maybe 4 decks left that you see. Maybe it's half the thing, the shoe's half full on your dealer online. It would be 6 divided by 4. So that would be 1 point something. That would be your true count. We really just use the running count. That's what matters, especially in the beginning. Online, depending on how many, if it's super early and I have a +5, I'll bet a little heavier. But if we're running into the decks, there's less decks, the count gets higher, I'll start cranking it up. Okay? So let's keep going. So we're a little unlucky at first. That's all right. It works out in the end. So we're +3. Blackjack. So +3, okay, 5 and a 4. That's 2 more faces in the deck. So started with +3, +5, 2, +3, +2. Okay? So this guy's got a 9, showing a queen he's going to hit. +4. 9 +4, he's got a 13, so he's going to hit again. The count's +4. Boom. He busts. You hit a blackjack. Dealer doesn't have blackjack, so boom. There you go. You guys got that? What else? I tell you what, let's go ahead and do this. All right, check it out. We are at a live table, folks. Now, you want to start your count when it's a brand new shoe, right? So right now we're in the middle of the shoe. This is an 8-deck. These are all 8-deck tables. Typically they are online. Looks like we're about 3.5 decks deep, 3 decks deep, right? So what I would do, what I did when I started, is I always took the seat on the very left, so I had the most amount of time to count. And so I squint in. This table kind of sucks. The lighting kind of sucks. We're going to wait for the next hand. Now, here's the way you want to do this. Time 15 minutes. At 15 minutes, stop. Walk away for an hour, and then come back again for another 15 minutes. In your brain, in the beginning, you're going to have a bit of a rough time keeping up. You're going to be like, oh, flopping and groping, especially if you sit at the table, right? We'll go ahead and take a seat here. Sit at the cheapest table you can. This is a minimum $25 bet, so you probably don't want to sit at, depending on who you are, all depends who you are. You're going to bet the minimum until your count goes positive. You can wait hours and hours, sometimes days, in order to get a positive count. Now, I'm just going to count for the sake of counting. The count's obviously going to be wrong because we're in the middle of the shoe, so we're not counting yet. Boom, now we start. So that's 2 and a 2, plus 2, 10 and a queen, minus 2 are at 0, 5 and an 8, positive 1, a 10 and a neutral, negative 1, so that's 0, 0, positive 1. So the count so far is positive 1. Okay, boom, next card is a 4, positive 2. See, and we have time. Another low card, positive 3. See, people are messing around. We have Angie right here. Okay, positive 3. That looks like an 8, so it's still positive 3. That's a neutral card. I don't even know what my hand is. I'm just counting. Count still positive 3. Boom, another low card. Positive 4. There's an ace. That's a 10 card. So now there's one less in the deck. So now it's one less. So now it's positive 3. On an 8 deck, like I would say if the count's positive 5, the running count, I'll start to bet more. The highest one I've ever seen was a positive 21 count. That's another 5. Now we're count positive 4. The biggest thing, my issue is, the biggest issue I'll have is forgetting what the count is. That's the only, all you have to do is memorize one number. One number. That's all you have to memorize. And then have your blackjack, your little blackjack card open that I showed you earlier. Okay, boom. So she had a 6, so boom, she flopped a 9. I forgot what the count was, plus 4, so we'll call it still plus 4. Boom, she busts. Okay, we're good. So I'm going to pretend if the count was plus 4 and it was this many decks that were already there, I would up my bets because we're coming to the end. It's the run counts, close to 1, whatever. I'm going to take what I can get with online. And yes, a lot of people complain that, oh, there's 8 decks. You can count. You can count with an 8 deck. You just have to be patient. You just have to keep playing minimum bets or low bets until the count gets high. And that's when you up your bets. And more than not, you're going to win. So, yeah. Next episode, we'll talk about deviations. There is depth to counting cards. So, starting out, even with just what you know now, standard blackjack, basic strategy, the basic strategy card, and yeah, that's enough. And then we'll go over deviations, special moves. A deviation means you deviate from the plan. So For example, I think one deviation if the count's +5 and over, and you have a 16 against a 17, you stay. We saw that example earlier. So yeah, my name is CryptoFace, and you now know how to count cards, and it's like riding a bike. Once you learn it, you'll never forget. I promise, if you just put in 45 minutes and 3 15-minute sessions, you will be a master, and you're going to laugh, because every friend or family you tell that you can count cards, they're going to be like, what? Are you sure? What? Are you sure? Don't you have to be a genius? Don't you? You can't count. I can't do that. You're going to be like, no, like, let me show you. I can, trust me, you can count. I have screamed and yelled at so many friends and family members, and that you'd be surprised how people are scared to learn something new. They're scared of being successful, but the numbers are in your favor, and as long as you don't bet the farm when you have a positive count, you know, on one hand, if you do it smart and steady, you'll do just fine. So, CryptoFace out. How to Count Cards, Episode 1. Hope you guys enjoyed it.